The wild is a habitat for many creatures. Some are our adorable friends, but others have been relegated to natural enmity. This is not the case for poor Lloyd. He is the Zambian snake hunter. Not that he kills them. Paul simply invades the world of snakes for the purpose of teaching communities how best to live with his crawlers. Paul is familiar with most snakes found in Zambia. He will be sharing the myths, the do's and the don'ts, and indeed so much more as we join him in hunting for snakes in the Zambian wild. His first mission is finding the vine snake. Not an easy task considering a special attribute that helps with disguising effectively.
I'm looking for one known as the vine snake. In the local language here it's known as kankuni. The actual name of the snake is a vine or a bird or a twig snake. Its genus and species is Theloturnus capensis, known as the southern or savanna vine snake. Can also sometimes be known as oats vine snake.
It is a sturdy search to avoid missing it. And minutes into our arrival at the Kalimba Reptile Park in Lusaka, the vine is spotted.
The local name means dry stick. Just wants to climb on me. Okay, put it up. Go up. They have a tendency to go upwards.
It is considered to be one of the most toxic snake species in Africa, but that doesn't take away from its many special attributes that make it stand out among them all. It begins with its general appearance.
And if you look at the colouring on the body, with mostly the greyish brown and these slight bars or slight blotches here, it looks very much like the branch of a tree. But one of the distinguishing factors on this particular snake, if you look at the top of the head, you will see it has a green head with an inverted Y shape, with the arms of the Y pointing towards the eyes.
Vines also have an eye-catching tongue draped in two colors, a distinct orange and a black tip.
In terms of its description, you might have noticed the very bright orange tongue with the black tip. Come, there you are. Come, put your tongue up. There you are. Bright orange tongue with the black tip.
The tongue is not an ordinary feature on the vine and other snake species because it performs a very important function.
You see, snakes use their tongues to smell. They pick up scent particles in the air, and then they have a special olfactory organ in the roof of their mouth.
Vines can stand at what some may find to be an awkward angle for hours on end in its peculiar mode of rest.
They're found everywhere. They are more prevalent at certain seasons of the year, more so in the dry season than the wet season, where they'll hang around on the fences of properties and in low bushes and things like that. One of the distinct behavior characteristics of this snake, we can't really see that right now, it has the ability to protrude or extend part of its body, up to a third of its body, into space. And it will remain like that, absolutely still, for hours and hours and hours and hours.
Locals believe that the vine can strike through a person's heart, resulting in instant death. This is because the vine has a pointed head. That is a complete fallacy, as Paul dismisses that belief.
Other distinguishing factor here, typical of vine snakes across the world, is the pointed head. Let me see if I can get it to go side on so you can see it. There we are. It has a pointed head. Some of the African people believe the snake can actually, like a spear, pierce somebody's chest. But that's untrue. That's completely untrue. You can also see it's quite a docile snake. It's not trying to bite me. It simply wants to get away.
Vines can grow to as long as 1.6 meters, but in rare circumstances, they can be as long as 1.8 meters. Kankuni has a special menu which it finds with relative ease given its special site.
These snakes feed mainly on chameleons, tree-living birds, tree-living frogs, tree-living lizards, the occasional rodent, and they also eat other snakes occasionally. Snakes are opportunists when it comes to eating, so if it happens to find another snake that is small enough and that it's able to swallow, it will kill the snake and swallow it.
Like most snakes, vines can take between 5 and 7 days to digest a meal, and in that period, they are really sluggish. Evidence of a meal is protrusion on its belly, which makes it move slower.
So when it bites its food, such as a chameleon or a lizard or something, or a small rodent, it then has to chew to get those fangs in to work the venom into the body of its prey. And then the venom, the purpose of the venom of most snakes is to assist in digestion. And that venom even causes the prey to start the digestive process even before the prey has been swallowed.
When the vine bites its prey, it immediately activates its venom, an active ingredient in its digestion process. The venom distribution system of the vines is considered primitive, yet it remains lethal.
Having said all of this about this snake, and you having seen me in such close proximity to this snake, it is classified as one of the most toxic snakes in Africa. It has rear fangs, so the fangs, the poison fangs, are situated right back in the mouth. And it has a very primitive venom delivery system. It has a grooved fang, as opposed to the normal hypodermic poison fang of the mambas and the cobras and the adders.
Paul has hints on first aid if one is unluckily struck with a vine bite.
The vine snake has a very potent hemotoxic venom, but it's a very slow acting venom. It can be as many as anywhere from 6 hours to 2 days before one might see symptoms of a bite from this type of snake. Therefore, the good thing about this, it implies that there is plenty of time to get to a medical facility or somebody who is proficient in treating this type of snake bite. But if you are unlucky enough or unfortunate enough to be bitten by a snake like this, and it's a full bite with envenomation, then the best thing to do that the lay person can do is immobilize the limb that was bitten, whether it was a leg or an arm or a hand. Immobilize it, put it in a splint. If it's an arm, put it in a sling. If it's a leg, simply put the splint on so that the patient is not able to move the leg around a lot, and transport the person as quickly as possible to a medical facility.
Aside its hunting expedition, the vine is generally reclusive in character.
It wants to be left alone. Do not approach a snake. You don't know whether or not it's a venomous snake. This particular snake that we were dealing with, Thelatornis capensis, the vine snake, it has a potent hemotoxic venom, a blood-affecting venom, which destroys the composition of blood and the blood vessel walls and causes massive hemorrhaging in victims. Therefore, I move back to when the snake bites its food and it kills its food before swallowing it. That venom assists in the digestion. The venom gets to work in the body of that victim, helping the snake to digest it.
That does not, however, take away from its agility in climbing trees and shrubs, their preferred resting spots.
Snakes, generally speaking, have only one functional lung. They have a large lung and they have a small lung. And the paired organs inside a snake's body generally appear one behind the other, as opposed to in pairs such as human kidneys or human lungs. They are not next to each other. And because the snakes only have one functional lung and they have to use their whole bodies to move, whether in a serpentine fashion or a caterpillar-like fashion, they get tired quickly, so they stop frequently. They may move a few meters and then they'll stop. Snakes have no eyelids, therefore they cannot close their eyes. They have a clear scale over the eyes, a transparent scale, which is removed when the snake sheds its skin, and then there's a new scale. So in terms of their sleep patterns, they don't really sleep like a normal creature would, such as humans or mammals that have eyelids and are able to close their eyes. They lie simply in a sedentary position, which would be normally in a dark place or at night time, and they simply rest. Snakes have no external ears and they have no middle ear. Therefore, they cannot hear. And whatever they may or may not be able to hear would be a very muffled sound. But despite this, the replacement for their hearing is being extremely sensitive to vibrations in the ground. Cobras, when they stand up and they make a hood, they're able to catch sound vibrations through the air in the hood. Then the hood acts like a sail of a boat. But generally speaking, snakes moving along the ground, they can pick up vibrations, and they can pick up minute vibrations. They can sense a lizard or a rat moving around them, could often be several meters away. And certain snakes, like the cobras, and the forest cobra especially, can sense something like a fully grown rat moving up to 6 meters away through the grass, and it can pinpoint where that sound is coming from so that it can hunt the rat and bite it, kill it, and eat it. The snake's tongue is used as a smelling organ. So what us as humans perceive as smelling, for the snake it's tasting. It's tasting the air. The tongue comes out, it flickers, it picks up scent particles on the forks of the tongue. The tongue then retracts into the mouth, and in the roof of the mouth there are 2 holes. We call them pits. And the forks of the tongue go into those 2 holes, and inside those 2 holes is the olfactory organ, or the smelling organ of the snake, and it's called the organ of Jacobson, or Jacobson's organ. That organ then sends a signal to the brain, and the snake then interprets what it is smelling, or tasting rather. It could be food, it could be danger, a strange scent in the air which the snake may not like, so therefore it has to move away. If it's food, then the snake will be able to track that smell or that taste until it reaches its food source.
Africa, our motherland, walienda. Africa, my Africa, umushiri wa mufunda, abana bobe bali balwa. Rivers running current, the savannah, grass and trees, my identity.